What's good, Wizards fans, and welcome to Locked On Wizards podcast. It's your host, the real Ed Oliver, my guy, Brandon Scott. The Wizards beat the Sacramento Kings on Friday night, 125-111. We're going to talk about that and rumors that the Wizards will trade Kyle Kuzma for John Collins. Let's get to it.
You are Locked On Wizards, your daily Washington Wizards podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
You guys are making Locked On Wizards your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you guys get podcasts. Today's episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. First-time users can receive a 100% instant deposit match up to $100 with promo code Locked On. That's prizepicks.com, promo code Locked On. So the Wizards took care of business against the Sacramento Kings, 125-111 on the road. They were up by 30 at one point. Wes Unseld Jr. started Daniel Gafford with Chris Tapps for the first time this season, which was definitely interesting. What was your main takeaway from the game? What was your biggest reason why they won the game against the Sacramento Kings? And how was your holiday?
Oh, first of all, man, the holiday was great. Ate a lot, drank a little bit, so I definitely felt blessed this holiday, man.
Yes, sir.
Well, what can I say? This was a big win, man, and I think the biggest reason for that was this lineup. Man, this is the lineup that I think that everybody wanted to see. A big lineup, man. Gaff, KP, Kuz at the 3. I think this is the lineup that if we're serious about turning the season around, this is the lineup I play. This is my favorite lineup. Gaff, look at it, man. Kuz, I think him playing him at the 3, I think that could be a better position than the 4 because, 32 points, 14 from 23. He played well. Bradley Beal, 24 points. 2 from 4 from 3, so 50% from 3. So, this was a good lineup. Monte, got in his element and distributed the ball, 5 assists, but 16 points. So Monte had a good game. But most importantly, Rui Hachimura showed up. And I don't know if you had some feelings about those trade news, man, but he responded. 21 points, man, 9 for 15. At one point, he was 6 for 6. So he was efficient. He was a scoring self. He just, it goes to show how good of a 3-level scorer he is. He can score at will. He was incredible. The bench was better. Kispert showed up 9 points. Taj Gibson 8 points, but one person was missing. Will the Thrill was not did not play. So that shows you, we said it time and time again that he could find when you start getting these guys back from injury, he's going to find himself out of the rotation, and it shows because he was non-existent. So man, this was a much needed win, big win. Blowing them out, ending this 6-game road trip with a win. So, no, I'm very impressed with this team.
Definitely, yeah. I know we said we both said they were going to go 1-6. They ended up going 2-5, beating the Suns and the Kings. This is a big win. The Kings are a good team. They're 17-14. They're definitely in the playoff race, in the playoff hunt in the Western Conference. Sabonis is a good player. Fox is a good player. They got some good players on that team. And we basically ran them out of the gym. We were up by 30. We had a bunch of fast break points. Kuzma was getting downhill, getting in transition, had a couple dunks. Some Euro steps to the basket. Other guys stepped up. The bench stepped up. DeLon Wright being in the lineup was huge. The Wizards are 4-1 with DeLon Wright playing for the Wizards this year. He had 8 assists, 2 points. But like you said, Rui, man, he was hot, man. Posting up, facing up, mid-range shot, getting to the basket. He really was a 3-level scorer out there, 3 for 7 from the three-point line. Like you said, yeah, he definitely heard those rumors or, for the trade report for Jay Crowder. He definitely heard. I know he's definitely heard about that for sure. And he stepped up to the challenge. And we've been asking for the bench to step up and help the starters out. And, Rui 21, Taj Gibson came in and played well, 8 points. Corey Kispert with 9. He was good in transition as well. He had a dunk or 2. The bench showed up. This was probably our best game from the bench. Unfortunately, Jordan Goodwin didn't get a chance to get on the floor. He was a DNP coach's decision. Like you said, Will Barton didn't play, but when he comes back, where is he going to fit in the rotation? And I did like the Gafford in Porzingis lineup. Now Gafford did get in early foul trouble against Sabonis. Sabonis is just a tough cover. And this wasn't Porzingis' best game a couple nights ago, but he rebounded the ball well. He was pushing the pace, outletting the ball. And when we're pushing the pace, that's just where we're at our best. And there wasn't a lot of isolation ball. Brad was scoring in the flow of the offense. It wasn't just, guys looking around, standing around watching him dribble the ball, a couple, 80 times to score. The ball was on a string. They were moving the ball, unselfish basketball, a lot of fast break points. They barely turned the ball over in the first. I think they only had one turnover in the first half and like 18 assists. They ended the game with 30 assists. So this was beautiful basketball. This is a winning formula for the Wizards. Moving the ball, pushing the pace, running in transition, getting stops. And I think DeLon Wright coming back as well is definitely going to help their point of attack defense for sure. So this was a big win. They needed this bad. And, they shot better from the field, 55% from the field, 70 points in the paint. They were up by 30 at one point, 24 fast break points, 9 steals that led to fast breaks. So I was impressed. Monte Morris, this was probably his best game as a Wizard. You saw the alley-oop to Kyle Kuzma. And they dapped each other up after that, too. So they looked like they had fun as well. So I was really happy to see this win.
Well, this is, I think this is the ceiling for this team. When they play team basketball, this is the ceiling. I mean, it's beautiful music when they play like this, man. I mean, they played well. I mean, I was very impressed. It was a team win. I mean, like you said, they had fun. The ball movement was fluid. We said in offseason, man, as the biggest keys to this team being successful this season was pushing the pace and defensive presence. So when they play defense as a team, when they push the pace, when they play team basketball, this is a good team, and that's why I think a lot of people are feeling the way they are about the season, because there is a lot of talent on this team. I mean, there's a lot of talent. So this is best case scenario. If this team, and I think the biggest thing I'm gonna point out is consistency. How do they respond? Because we haven't been very consistent. So I mean, it's a very impressive win, but especially going back home, how do we respond? Because if they can keep this consistent play, we could get out of this hole. Now, I know there's people out there talking about tank, but I mean, there's a lot of talent, so when all the moving pieces are moving together, man, this is a really, really good team. So, like you said, 9 steals, 4 blocks, that's defense. That's defense. That's what I want to see. 70 points in the paint. Whoa. Anytime you score 70 in the paint, you're going to win that game. So, you know what I mean? This was just an impressive win and is much needed. So, yeah, I'm very, very happy with this team, man.
Mm-hmm. Definitely, yeah. Rui had a really nice pass to Porzingis. It was like a hook shot type of pass to Porzingis for a dunk. I remember I wrote that on my notes because the game did happen a couple days ago over the holiday. I know Daniel Gafford had a pass through the legs. I think it was through Sabonis's legs to Porzingis, and he finished off for a dunk as well. And the Kings played a lot of zone. They started to press us. We struggled against the press. We let them come back. We were up by 30. We ended up winning by 15, but I think we did enough to take care of business, so I was impressed with the win. So we're going to get to some injury report news about Denny and Will Barton, and then we're going to talk about the Kyle Kuzma and John Collins rumor. But before we do get to that, this episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. Prize Picks is super easy. This is how it works. You pick 2 to 6 players, and if they will go score more or less than their Prize Picks projection, you win up to 25 times your money on any entry. Pick 2 to 6 players. It's just basically over-unders. So I know Kyle Kuzma, his over-under is usually 22.5. Bradley Beal's about 24. Last game, he didn't hit it with 24, but Kyle Kuzma smashed it with 35. He had 30, I want to say 30 points against the Kings. He really took over and dominated that game. So if you would have picked Kuzma on Prize Picks to pick his over, then you would have won that. So it's super easy. You just pick 2 to 6 players, just over-unders. You can pick 4 to 6 players. Even if you get 4 out of 6 players right out of 6 picks, you still get paid up to 2 times your money. No competing against other people. It's just you versus the projections available. Prize Picks offers projections on any sport that you watch. This includes NBA, NFL, MLB, NHL, and more. Entries can be made in 60 seconds or less. It's that easy. Safe and fast withdrawals. Currently operational in over 30 states and Canada. Download the Prize Picks app or go to prizepicks.com to sign up and play daily fantasy sports. First-time users can receive a 100% instant deposit match up to $100 with promo code Locked On. If you deposit $100, Prize Picks will give you $100. If you deposit $50, Prize Picks will give you $50. Don't forget to enter promo code Locked On at sign up for an instant deposit match up to $100. So I want to thank you guys for making Locked On Wizards your first listen every day. Now check out Locked On Sports today for your news, for the biggest stories around the sports world in 20 minutes or less, plus instant reactions, game recaps, and Locked On's Take of the Day. Locked On Sports Today, available on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. All right, so I guess we'll talk about the injury report real quick. I'm going to bring this up about Denny, because Denny missed the last game against the Kings. Will Barton was out as well. I saw a report about this. I'm pulling up. Just give me a couple seconds here. So this is from Josh Robbins on the Athletic. He says Denny Avdia, who missed Washington's last 2 games because of lower back soreness, was a partial participant in the team's practice today. Wes Unseld Jr. said Will Barton, also with lower back soreness, also was a partial participant. Washington will host Philly tomorrow night. So what are your thoughts on the injuries for those guys if they do play or if they don't?
I mean, for once, I think we're good because you're starting to get key guys back. So I'm not really concerned. Now, Denny, the question is, where does he go when he comes back? Do you slide him back into the starting unit or do you roll forward with Kuz at the 3? So that's a good question. Where does he? But, Barton, he's been struggling. So are they really going to miss him? I mean, was he going to play anyways? So, give the brother some rest, man. But, like, but I mean, I'm not worried, man, because we're starting to get key guys back. DeLon Wright, that's a key move, man. Who would have thought that his acquisition would be one of the most important acquisitions we made this offseason because, he's been central to this team defensively. You really can call him the defensive leader because, as you can see, they're a better team when he's on the court, when he's there, so it's just, I think we're good, man. I'm not too concerned.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, you would like to have as many healthy guys as possible, but I think, with this roster, I think less is more. I think guys figure out their roles more. They get more shots and more usage, and they get more comfortable. They get their legs under them, and they get more of a rhythm rather than us having, 10 or 11 guys playing. I know they had 10 guys playing, but I think 10 or 9 is a good rotation. Will, he's just struggled this year. I found a stat on him. The lowest field goal percentage with a minimum of 300 field goals missed per 82 team games by a player in the 2022-2023 season. Will Barton is second to last. Killian Hayes is last. So that's just showing that they haven't shot the ball well at all. Will Barton, his field goal percentage is 37% right now. So he's struggling to shoot the ball. He's struggling to defend. I like Will a lot, but he just takes some really tough shots. His shot selection is he takes a lot of tough shots, and I think they just need to move the ball more. If he does get in, he just needs to move the ball more when he gets in there. Of course, they can use Denny's defense, so I hope they both have a speedy recovery for sure. But like you said with Kuz at the 3, that's a good point, man. I think Kuz plays well at the. I think he plays well at the 3 or 4, but I think he looked like he had more opportunities to go to work when he was at the 3. So, but yeah, let's get into the trade talk here. So this is from Flex from Jersey. He is a radio host on 98.7 for the Suns post-game show. He's also with the KSRN in Arizona. This is the tweet that he put out. He works for Fox 10 Phoenix. He is a Suns insider as well. So he had a report on December 7th saying that he can confirm from multiple sources that the Suns are interested and have had multiple conversations about Kyle Kuzma. A deal between Phoenix, Atlanta, and Washington has been discussed. Kuzma has always been a player of interest to James Jones and the Suns. I'm told interest is mutual. That was on December 7th. Then on Christmas Day, he tweets out, can confirm from multiple sources that Kyle Kuzma is indeed the primary target for the Suns in trade discussions. As mentioned below, I'm told a deal involving Washington and Atlanta that would send John Collins to the Wizards is the deal being discussed. Suns absolutely want Kuzma. So what are your thoughts about that? So Flex from Jersey also, when you click on his profile, Twitter, there's like a new Twitter Blue. You have to subscribe to it. It's like $8.99 or something like that. So I know people get into that for sure because, if you have a blue check, that means, you're more credentialed or you're a media member. And then if you subscribe to Twitter Blue, you're not a credentialed media member. So I know people take a lot of stock into that for sure. All that aside, though, what are your thoughts about the report? Do you think it's true or not? And then if the Wizards even do a move like that, do you think that's a good or a bad move for the Wizards?
As they say, when there's smoke, there's fire. I think there's some truth to that. Well, I mean, if they're intent on building around Brad, then I think the most positive standpoint you can have on a potential trade with John Collins coming to DC would be financial stability at the 4. Because it's not guaranteed that if Kyle Kuzma goes into free agency that he's going to resign. So you got a 4 who's got a very similar skill set. He can defend. He can't shoot from the 3. He's not a sharpshooter, but he's got that capability. He's athletic. He can get some dunks. So there's definitely potential there, but it's a lateral move. I don't see us really climbing the ladder up the East with the move because, like I said, you're just replacing one guy for another and just really is financial stability as far as that position. So, but I would invite it because we need more athleticism. We've been saying that we need more athletic guys. So he's got a little chip on his shoulder. So because he's been in trade talks about the last 3 years. So he's definitely going to have a chip on his shoulder, especially when we go to the ATL. So I'm not hesitant to make that move. I would make it.
Yeah, I don't like the move, honestly. I really wish in a perfect world they could keep Kuz because he's playing really well, man. He's a really good ball player. Like you said, I think it's a lateral move. I actually think at times it's a downgrade. John Collins hasn't played well this year. He's been off, and then honestly, he needs a point guard that can set him up. He's played with Trae Young. He needs lobs, a lot of assisted baskets. That's his game, is getting lobs or running the floor. He can shoot the three a little bit, but he can't put the ball on the floor. He's not going to create any shots for himself like Kuz. Kuz can actually put the ball on the floor and get to the basket and hit mid-range shots, jumpers, all kinds of stuff, spin moves, runners. That's not really in John Collins' game. I like his game. I think he's a good pick and roll, pick and pop guy. It will be an interesting fit next to KP. He could clog the floor and clog up the spacing next to KP. Can he defend? Yeah, he can block shots, and he's a thinner guy, but he is athletic. So I'm not excited for this trade, honestly, to be honest, if it happens. But like you said, there's smoke, there's fire. They've been, Shams has said that the Wizards are interested in John Collins. Multiple people have said the Wizards are interested in John. Even last year, they said they were interested in John Collins. So I like John Collins. I just don't see it pushing the Wizards forward much at all. And John Collins is getting paid $23.5 million. So I feel like that's basically what Kuz is going to get this offseason. But if Kuz doesn't want to be here, then you don't have a choice. If you actually had a choice to bring him back, then I definitely wouldn't make this move. And it's funny that, Bradley Beal liked to tweet today saying that there was a trade proposal on Twitter saying the Wizards would get John Collins, Josh Okogie, and a 2023 first-round pick from the Suns. The Hawks would get Jay Crowder and Will Barton. I'm fine with moving on from Will Barton, so I think that would be a good move. And the Suns would get Kyle Kuzma. And then somebody else tweeted saying, this is not good. Might as well just keep Kuz. And Bradley Beal actually liked the tweet. So Brad wants to keep Kuz.
Yeah. And Brad's a guy. So, if he's, that's the other side of the, of the coin, man. With him being a fan of Kuz, because the front office has let Brad make a lot of decisions. Spencer Dinwiddie was a decision that, Brad kind of okayed. So, he's got a lot of say when it comes to potential moves. So you very well could see Kuz stay here long term, especially with him being a fan favorite, because attendance is a little low, brother. So, if you can keep a fan favorite, that's, it's all the better for the financial side of the team. So it's just, this depends on the direction. I know the team is full steam ahead to build around Bill. But it's just this could be one of the better deals because, where do you go from here? Phoenix showed that people aren't really valuing our young guys like we do. So where do you go from here? So I think that really that's the best move you're going to get, in my opinion, and it's going to be lateral moves because, look, every year that Bradley Beal's here, his salary goes up. So it's going to get harder and harder to build around him. So you might as well try to swing for the fences now and try to, and hoping that KP's resigns. So, yeah.
Yeah. So I think that their hands are tied. If the reports that Kuz really doesn't want to be here, then you have to get value for him. They should shop around. I think the Hawks are interested in Kuz, the Mavericks, there's many other teams. So, but yeah, John Collins, and I guess it would be another solid three. It still wouldn't be a big three. It would be a solid three of Brad, John Collins, and Porzingis. So, all right, but the Wizards, they play the Sixers tomorrow, and then like you said with attendance, they do have a deal for tickets. It's a 2 for $25 deal. I think the tickets are in the upper section, so if people want to go to the game tomorrow against the Sixers, they can definitely do that. But we're going to do a preview of the Sixers and then wrap it up. Before we do that, we're going to get a quick word in from Brandon.
Yes, sir. Tonight's episode is brought to you by BetOnline. BetOnline.net is your number one source for sports betting info, stats, news, and analysis. Get the latest odds and trends for every professional and amateur league out there, from pro football to college bowl season to the basketball and the World Cup. We got it all at BetOnline.net. If you love sports podcasts such as this one, you can find even those at BetOnline as well. We're always the fastest and easiest way to get your betting info. Here's the website today, or use your mobile device to learn more. BetOnline, where the game starts. Thank you for making Locked On Wizards your first listen today. Now make Locked On Sports Today your second listen. Peter Bukowski brings you the biggest stories from around the sports world in 20 minutes. Get analysis and opinions before anyone else with our local and national experts and insiders. Locked On Sports Today podcast available on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts.
All right, so the Sixers do play the Wizards play the 76ers tomorrow night in DC at 7. So what are your thoughts about the Sixers this year, and what's your keys to victory?
Well, I'll tell you, they're going against a team that's, a contending team. So this is a measuring stick. Are they going to be consistent? This is a shown out game. So it's really going to see where they're at. So I think this is a team that we played like a 500 team, a team that really you don't know is going to be a playoff team or a lottery team. We've been kind of inconsistent. So I think this is definitely a measuring stick game. Keys to victory, man. Ball movement. Let's keep it rocking, man. When we play as a team, we are a team, and we respond. We score, we defend, we push the pace. So play team basketball on both ends of the floor. 2, one thing you saw from this game: keep your foot on the pedal, keep knocking them out, keep hitting them. Make sure they're out, man. Straight up. It's like it's MMA, man. Put them out. Once you get it, if you get that momentum, keep it going. Keep your foot on the pedal. And 3, man, the solid 3 really communicate with each other as a cohesive unit. This team really goes off the pulse of the solid 3. Chances are when 2 out of 3 are playing well, we win. Now, when 3 out of 3 are rocking, we usually win. So I want to see consistent play from the solid 3. If one of them struggles, at least 2 out of 3 get hot. So that would be my keys to victory.
Definitely, yeah. So they just beat the Knicks on Christmas. They're a slower, methodical team with Joel Embiid. We usually when we play them, we double them, and we tried to double James Harden last time. Tyrese Maxey hasn't been playing lately. He's a Wizards killer for sure. Tobias Harris is a Wizards killer. Joel Embiid's a Wizards killer. All these guys are Wizards killers on the Sixers. So with Embiid, if West wants to double him, I would just quickly double him once he gets the ball. If they do, I wouldn't do a slow double where Joel Embiid because we always slowly go with the double and just the guy can see the 2 guys coming up at him. And of course, he's going to pass the ball to James Harden for a wide open 3, or he'll pass it to Tobias for a wide open 3. So if West decides to double Joel Embiid, please quickly double him. If it doesn't work, quickly get off and rotate. We got a rebound against Joel Embiid, of course. They crash the boards a lot. They're 26th in pace, so they don't want to run. So I think we should definitely try to push the pace against Joel Embiid. I think Gafford, he's a guy that should run the floor. Kristaps as well. Kuz, keep running the floor. Monte Morris push the pace. James Harden doesn't want to run back on defense. We know that for sure. So I would definitely push the pace against the Sixers for sure. And like you said, ball movement, just unselfish play. Defense, of course, DeLon Wright. I want to see him. He'll probably have to get the assignment of James Harden and just make it tough on James. James Harden has been on a tear lately too with assists and scoring. So yeah, it's going to be a tough game. But if the Wizards do really want to compete, then this is a game that you have to show up at home and make it a competitive game and win this game for sure. So. And one last thing I'll say about John Collins, we don't even have a point guard to really set him up either to make it easier for him. So that's why I'm not really high on the trade too. So we'll see what happens with that. But once again, those are my keys to victory with the Sixers. They're a good defensive team. They're ranked 2nd in defensive rating. Offensive rating, they're 14th. Like I said, they're 26th in pace. They get to the free throw line a lot because of Joel Embiid. They're going to have to defend without fouling. Just keep your hands up because he can live at the free throw line for sure. So it's going to be a tough game for the Wizards. It's going to be an uphill battle. So do you think the Wizards – what's your final score prediction for the game as well?
I'm going to be honest, man. I think it's going to be an L. I
don't think you're alone in that, though.
I hope they fulfill the keys of victory. But, Philly's a different animal, man. I mean, they are a contending team. James Harden's a little older, but, I mean, still, he can contribute at a high level. So, Embiid, I think that's going to test our centers. Embiid's a whole different guy, man, especially with KP, how he plays against Embiid if he plays at the 5. So, because like you said, he struggles against bigs who are a bigger, stronger guys. So I think that's one thing how they play. Can Gafford man him against Embiid? I don't know, man, because he's kind of between the two. But I think that going forward with this game, I would definitely play the same lineup, but I would switch out Monte for DeLon. because I think DeLon Wright is the best answer at the, like you said, defending James Harden. He's the answer at point guard. I think Monte's not gonna be able to handle James, man. So the score. I'm gonna roll with 107-98, 76ers.
Okay, I'll probably go 112 to 109. I think the Wizards are going to keep it close. I think it's going to come down to our last second shot. I hate for this to happen, but I think Brad's going to get the ball at the last second, and we'll end up losing at the last second. But once again, another stat I found: the Sixers are second in 3-point percentage, shooting 38% from the three. So we have to defend the 3-point line. We're not good at defending the 3-point line at all. So that's something that I see too that the Sixers are good at. Georges Niang, he comes off the bench, he can shoot well. Shake Milton, DeAnthony Melton is good at shooting threes. Tobias Harris can shoot too. So they got a deep roster. And Montrezl Harrell comes off the bench too. So they got a deep team. There's some familiar guys on the Sixers team for sure. But my final score prediction, like I said, I think they end up losing 112-109. But I think it's a competitive game. I don't see a blowout happening at all.
I mean, one thing for sure is going to be a lot of passion. Like you said, Montrezl, he's going to be there, man. So it's going to be some feelings because he was one of the guys, they sent him back home to Charlotte. So, yeah, it's going to be competitive. But just like I said, Philly's a whole different animal, man. I mean, they're a team that plays well together. And you brought up Niang. Niang cooked this last time. He was, so I think that's the key, too, is you got to respond against this bench. We got to win the battle of the benches, too. I think that would be a factor that if we're going to be competitive, our bench has to win that matchup. So, yeah, it's going to be an L, but I think there's going to be some fire. Definitely going to be some fire. So,
definitely. Yeah, Rui's got to show up. We need another big game from Rui again. I don't think Niang can guard him, Montrez, any of the guys that they put on him. I think he should definitely take over with the bench unit. But we want to thank you guys for listening. Hope you guys had a great holiday. Once again, make sure you guys check out Locked On Sports today. Now for your second listen, check out Peter Bukowski, who brings you the biggest stories from around the sports world in 20 minutes. Get the analysis and opinions before anyone else with our local and national experts and insiders. Locked On Sports Today podcast, available on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts. Make sure you guys subscribe, rate, and review. We're almost at 3,000 subscribers on YouTube. I want to thank you guys for listening. The end of the year is coming up, so we thank you guys for listening the whole year 2022 as well. Hail to the Wizards. Peace.